If we are to keep yachting as it's promoted on this show, the industry needs to take some drastic steps to reduce its footprint. One of the key challenges is to develop yachts with cleaner and more efficient propulsion systems. While everyone is talking about hydrogen, there are plenty of effective short-term solutions to meet strict emission targets. In this episode of Yacht Talk, we take a closer look at these cleaner alternatives and how we should fundamentally change the way we look at energy in yachting. I'm glad to be joined by real experts on this topic. Please welcome Tobias Kohl of MTU and independent hybrid consultant Pieter Dijkstra. I'm Charlotte Kahn and welcome to Yacht Talk by Heesen. Gentlemen, welcome on the show. It's great to have you both here. So let's start with you, Tobias. As Director of Application Engineering Marine, what is it exactly that you do?
So our job at least is to bring the bits and pieces together. So we are very close to the customer, we talk to the shipyards, learn what the real requirements are, and then we look to our portfolio, what can we deliver there? So starting from a diesel engine up to a gearbox, bring the bits and pieces together, make a full integrated system, and be also the interface to R&D, to sub-suppliers, and one point of contact for the shipyard.
And tell us a bit more about the long-standing relationship you've had with Heesen. How do you work together?
I would even say it is a tradition at least. So if you think about that, we have this year with our Series 2 and 4000 already the 25th anniversary. And if I tell you then that the first Series 4000 marine engines have been installed in Heesen yachts, that's it.
Why do you think it's important for the industry to remain at the forefront of sustainability? And what can we learn, for instance, from the automotive sector?
So from the automotive sector, if we focus to the past, most of the technologies we have now on yachts and in the industry have been installed in the car industry before. So if you think about common rail technology, exhaust gas after treatment system, hybrid installations, all these kind of stuff have been in the car industry first. Now our job is now to transfer that to the industry and make that somehow fit to the demands there. So, for example, brake recovering of brake energy is not possible on board of a yacht because we are swimming in the ocean. So we have to find other alternatives and further develop them.
And it's challenging, isn't it? Because obviously in the auto sector, you've got the chance of being able to deploy solutions on a very large scale, whereas in yachting, it's much more niche, isn't it?
That's absolutely true. And that's where we have to further develop standards, modular systems, not only develop this one unique system which fits for one boat, for one vessel. And we also have to learn from each other and also transfer this to other applications like the commercial boating and stuff like that.
Pieter, that may be a question for you, actually. I mean, how do you learn from other industries, maybe, to make yachting more sustainable? Which industry really is at the forefront of change currently, according to you?
Yeah, there's a lot of interaction between those industries. Automotive, heavy vehicles, which comes already much more into the power ranges of yachting industry. But actually within yachting and shipbuilding itself also, we have yachts, but we have ferries and we have tugboats, we have inland vessels, and all those industries are looking for a proper solution. And there are many links in components, in technologies, in how physics work, how a yacht works, and nowadays also with, for example, aerospace is going electric as well. And there's a lot of development in that ongoing as well, and which can help the yachting industry very much as well.
I think it's time to talk about the H word, hydrogen. Everyone's talking about it at the moment. How do you see the hydrogen fuel cell technology evolving for yachting?
So hydrogen is, I would say, the most important energy carrier of the future, definitely. We can produce hydrogen on a green, renewable basis. And how this is going to work for yachting? So actually we have big challenges to bring that amount of energy stored on board of a yacht. So we have to find ways how to make that easier to, let's say, have also space available for accommodation. So if we produce out of hydrogen, for example, methanol, as a fuel which we can similar or very close to the diesel which we have today. And then we have a fuel cell which is able to operate with a reformer technology, for example, and combine this then with a methanol combustion engine. This could be the future for.
So it's not just hydrogen as such, it's a solution to be applied alongside a full range of other solutions, basically.
Yeah, sure. As Tobias said, the hydrogen is a building block to come to a sustainable energy solution. And maybe it's not only the yacht that is important that carries a certain renewable fuel, but if you think on destinations where the yachts are going, there's an energy need and a refueling solution needed there as well. And then actually liquid fuels might be a much more logical solution than a gassy type of fuel. Energy densities are way higher. And in that sense, the yacht also becomes a new platform of energy supply to remote areas where it is now very difficult to have a sustainable solution at locations like small Caribbean islands or places where it's very hard to get a renewable energy source. Now with the yacht coming there with all its fuel and energy inside, based on the methanol, it might be actually becoming a new service for the boat itself.
Absolutely. I think we have to, let's say, with technologies we are developing right now, it will be an energy mix in the end. There is not that one fuel which fits for everything, but we have the chance right now to drive this in a direction, to influence it. Infrastructure is a very important point, as you mentioned.
I think that's a very interesting and important point, isn't it? It takes a whole ecosystem to change one industry like yachting. And that's why you mentioned destinations. So you need to really adopt a holistic approach.
Yeah.
Now, Tobias, you recently your company recently launched a clear three-way strategy to make yachts cleaner in the next few years. So what can you tell us about this strategy? What are the priorities or the pillars of it?
So first, what can we do today? So today we can talk a lot about efficiency. So how are the diesel engines today used? We can talk about exhaust gas after-treatment systems, for example, to have the exhaust cleaner today already. We can talk about, let's say, waste heat recovery. So take the heat which we have to cool down the engines, to heat up the pool, for example. So the whole optimization, exhaust gas after-treatment solutions is something we can work today already. That's one pillar. The other one is to think about electrification and hybridization. So combine the two sources, which today on board of a yacht are completely independent. In the past, we have a propulsion engine. It has simply no connection to the electric system on board. To combine this delivers much more challenges to optimize the system. And then the other way, which is by heart what we are driving in the next years up to 2030, 2050, is the net zero strategy. What does this mean? This means that we have to think about and we develop and our engines further to be prepared for sustainable fuels, to be ready then to have a clean, let's say, holistic approach, as you mentioned, so no additional CO2 in the atmosphere.
Okay, I understand you brought us a little gift, didn't you, from your factory?
Yes.
Shall we take a look?
Yeah, of course, please.
Okay, let's take a look. Tobias, here we've got a scale model of your hybrid system. Can you take us through the key features?
Absolutely. So what you can see here is, as you said, a hybrid system. It represents 50% of the installation we will find usually on board, so one shaft line at least. So we still have the diesel engine here in the middle. On top of that, we have the exhaust gas after-treatment system, which is cleaning the exhaust, reducing the NOx values to be able to meet the newest emission requirements. Then we have the gearbox connected to the diesel engine, and now the new thing is coming. We have the electric motor connected here to the gearbox as well. What does this mean? So this electric motor delivers us the possibility to drive the whole system, the boat, solely on electric. So we can switch the diesel engines off. We can take out the energy from the battery, for example, and run for a certain period of time the vessel solely on an electric motor. But also combinations are possible. So we have the combination to recharge the batteries using that electric motor as a generator if we have a long distance cruising, for example, with the diesel engine. So with different possibilities to modify and play around with the propulsion modes. Our approach is to have that kind of system as a modular system, What does this mean? So we have standardized interfaces between the two components. Everything is matched perfectly together. It is pre-tested in our facilities. We have the necessary software, therefore, and also the drive modes prepared. And this comes along with this holistical approach as one point of contact with our company.
Okay. Now, I'm not sure I got absolutely everything, but it does look like the Star Trek Enterprise to me. Okay. Now, at the Monaco Yacht Show in September, Heesen launched BlueNautech, a comprehensive sustainability program to reduce the shipyard's footprint. To see what's already being done to make yachts greener, we visited the shipyard in Os, and Sjoerd van Herk gave us a little tour.
With BlueNautech, we want to take the next step towards sustainable yachting. That's because our industry at the moment is not really known for sustainability. I'm Sjoerd van Herk, Senior Naval Architect at Heesen Yachts. We have 6 pillars for BlueNautech to focus on. It starts with hull efficiency, propulsion efficiency, better fuel consumption at anchor, more use of sustainable materials, improved operations for sustainability, and at last better production methods for our products. We are taking this step by step. It takes some maybe even years before we are there. I can give you 3 examples of things that we are already doing to make our ships cleaner and greener. This is Sapphire. It's the second one of the fast 50-meter aluminium series. The improvement compared to the previous 50-meter series is that the hull is much more efficient. We now need 11% less propulsion power to reach the same speed, which results in less fuel consumption and less emissions. This is the 80-meter Cosmos project. This project is known for its high speed of 30 knots. But what most people don't know is that this yacht can also cruise efficiently at lower speeds, thanks to these controllable pitch propellers. We can run on 2 of the, in total 4 engines at pretty efficient cruising speed, which is very beneficial for the owner, who will probably be cruising at lower speeds for about 90% of the time. This boat is also equipped with a battery pack. Battery pack is suitable for operation on batteries only for about 2 hours without the generators running. And this is very nice for when you go swimming in the sea. Another great advantage of the battery pack is that we will use it for peak shaving, which makes the generators run more efficiently. This is an example of a Heesen 50-meter steel, sister vessel of Triton. In Monaco we announced that all Heesen yachts can now be equipped with hybrid propulsion as an option. The next sister that we're going to build from this boat will already be equipped with hybrid propulsion because the owner of that boat selected that option. Yeah, the great benefit of that hybrid system is that you have a very nice silent cruising mode, where you do 8 or 9 knots only on the generator, so you don't hear any engine noise. It's really nice. And another advantage is that you have an economic cruising mode, where the generators are shut down, so you get electricity from the main engines, and the main engines are more efficient than the generators.
Great initiative. Now, Pieter, your turn. How did it all start for you, this sustainability journey? I mean, I read or heard that you developed your first hybrid marine propulsion system in your attic.
Yeah, I started together with a couple of colleagues, a company, just the 3 of us, on the attic of one of my colleagues' houses. And actually, I did my office work in a 2x3 little small office. That was all the space we had. We were a bit pioneering in electric drivetrain solutions, and the first hybrid that came into play was in 2006 when an owner for a sailing yacht came to a shipyard and had a specific request of building a true hybrid against any costs. Didn't really matter what the price was. The yacht went on with finding partners to build that, and in the end they found our little company on the attic being one of the technology suppliers for that yacht. What I see today in the yachting industry actually still rests a lot on that platform that was developed at that time, because that was already a parallel hybrid, DC-based, battery-supported propulsion system. Hey, if I look at the solution which MTU, for example, now is offering, it's a parallel hybrid, DC-based, battery-supported propulsion system. And much of the algorithms designed at the time at that vessel, where we didn't know where we were. We had no idea on how to keep a DC bus alive. We developed algorithms to make that happen. And yeah, that's first sailing yacht, still sails with the original installation, was the first kickoff.
And where are you at now?
Where are we now? Basically still very much in the key of finding constantly new ways, smaller sizes, lower footprints, better components, more durability, higher efficiencies. That is still ongoing very much. Still finding solutions between diesel engines, fuel cells, batteries, but also getting into the heads of people on how to design it, and also into the request of customers. What do you want from a yacht? Very important to understand that the desire of a customer to have a yacht with a certain usage profile not always is in the hard figures of this speed and this much power. No, sometimes it's very much in the feeling of the person that you have to get into. And that's a very important step in designing such a yacht, that you can grasp that and put that onto paper and build a system out of that.
When you ask what people want out of a yacht, I mean, often when it comes to motor yachts, it's very much about horsepower and top speed. Do you think it's going to change somehow?
Yes, I believe so. I already noticed that people have a top speed class. But then when you tell them what that top speed class actually effectively means into the yacht, and what the time is that they are using it, then sometimes they're willing to step off it. Not always yet, but sometimes they're willing to step off it. Like now I'm working on a yacht, which should be a sailing yacht, 16 knots on the motor. In the end, the customer said, because of the selection of machinery that we made, oh yeah, 16 knots. Make it somewhere near 16 knots. Because 16 knots actually would mean we would have to install 2 extra generators on board. And 15.8 means 2 generators less, which means more comfort, more space. And bringing that to the owner, traditionally it was like, no, 16 knots, it's on the paper, 16 knots. And now I can start to feel that people think, oh yeah, maybe 15.8 is fine as well, if you can prove that it's better for the owner in the end.
And you wanted to follow up on that, yeah?
Yes, of course, because that's a very important point. What is the speed which is really used in the end of a boat? If we focus to the load profile. A couple of years ago, for example, it was the most important selling argument for big yachts, we have 20 plus. Yeah. For some, this will still remain. But if we look to the load profile, we recognize that the yachts are sailing very often, most of the time, on part load. So if we have a smaller engine installed or a hybrid system installed with a smaller propulsion engine and a bigger electric motor, it is not a compromise at all. It's just fitted to that purpose, to that load profile. And this can help us develop that further.
It's about smart usage.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, Pieter, Heesen was one of the first motor yacht builders that showed an interest in hybrid propulsion. Can you tell us a bit more, about your project called Home?
Yeah. Heesen approached me at the time. They were developing a good thought already they had on building a parallel hybrid yacht. Basically, they did their homework very well already. They had good idea, okay, we want to have a parallel hybrid. They knew what kind of speeds they wanted to sail, for example, on the pure electric, diesel direct and boost mode. That was already very helpful in the design of the system, gave us the opportunity to calculate what kind of powers, what kind of gensets were needed, also combined with the hotel power, how many gensets would be running at the time. So it was very important to have, for me as a designer, a customer who knew what he wanted. Because very often you get a request that people, I want a hybrid. And what do you want to do with it? I don't know, I want a hybrid. Yeah, but maybe a traditional line is actually much better for you. Or maybe a full electric is better for you. So Heesen already had a good platform, and then we grouped together with a couple of partners, with a genset manufacturer, with a main engine supplier, with an electrical installation company, and with a drivetrain supplier, and we built the first hybrid of home.
And now that Heesen is offering hybrid propulsion systems as an option for all new yachts, and suppliers like you at MTU are developing innovative new hybrid solutions, do you expect them to become mainstream somehow, to really pick up?
I would love to. Depends very much on how people work in their heads, what they are doing. I think the new generations are wanting us to push to hybrids. And I think that push from new generation is becoming stronger and stronger. And in the end, there will be only hybrids or full electrics or sustainable yachts. Also because regions become less accessible for the pure diesel versions as well.
Yeah, I absolutely believe in that technology and also see the development coming. For sure, we have so much benefits, like, as you said, we have the possibility to enter areas where protected. We can deliver additional comfort, so that there is customer benefit in this such kind of system. And we can be clear now, if we make it in a clever way, for example, the low operation, where we can have an electric motor running instead of the big diesel in part load, and then have the challenge with the exhaust gas after treatment system, which is in part load always difficult to operate. So it will be in a balance. And I also think it's the expectation on the market and of the society that especially this segment delivers forward and sets standard to be greener in the future.
And with that, we conclude this episode of Yacht Talk. Thank you very much to both of you, Tobias and Pieter, for your insights, your passion too, and your convictions. And thank you very much to all of you out there for watching. Keep safe, and above all, keep yachting.